My first actually structured routine, right? One summer, I started lifting my mum's suitcases. That was my first. That was my first actual. I remember I trained all summer. I lifted suitcases and I did press ups. And I came back to college. I wasn't shredded, but I thought I was shredded. Literally, all I did was upright rows. That's all I could. Yeah, with suitcase. That's all I could do. Upright rows, some fake bicep curls. Oh yeah, I never followed a program. I never followed a program before. So imagine that. 6 weeks. All I did was that's it. All I did was I lifted suitcases for 6 weeks. Yeah, because I never followed a program before.
No money, no problem.
Literally, I don't even know why I even started lifting suitcases. I just saw it. Huh? No, just suitcases. So literally I would just do upright rows, bicep curls, as laterals are the little ones, press ups. That was it for 6 weeks. Or however long, some holidays, I can't remember how long it was. Maybe 8 weeks in college or whatever. Yeah. Yes.
What has been most rewarding? What's been the most challenging?
Yeah.
And what's been the most rewarding?
Okay, I would say the second shoot probably, because the second shoot was one I did because I wanted to do it when Isaiah was born, my son. But that was challenging because obviously it was COVID time, so gyms were shut, so I couldn't train in gyms, and obviously just COVID times, it's hard to diet because you're at home. It's hard to do steps because you have to leave the house. It's not like if I was at work where I could get my steps. So that was probably the most challenging. And obviously juggling new role of being a father as well. And obviously that's when we started here. So it's a lot of change. And in terms of by that time, the mentality to keep going is like, what am I doing this for? Do you know what I mean? I hit that stage like, what am I doing this for? What am I doing this for? But I think using Isaiah as a reference point, like my son, okay, I don't even know how I use him as a reference point because he doesn't care. But using him as a reference point kind of kept me going, like, okay, I need to keep going. So I'd say that was the biggest one, but I probably got a bigger sense of achievement from the first one. That's the first time I've ever done anything like that. But the second one felt,
you knew what was coming next.
Yeah. So that one felt good, but but the first one was probably like I felt like I climbed Mount Everest. You know what I mean, like it was really, really good. But it's funny because I didn't even think I looked that good. But I was like, I don't look good enough. But you look back, I was like, freaking hell, that. But on the day, I remember I was so nervous. I walked in, and on the same day they were having a seminar. Phil, I can't remember who it was. He had like friggin' 50 coaches there, so I was like, shit. I was nervous, but I don't know, I just flipped and I just felt comfortable. I think one guy said, oh, you're in good shape. And I just gave me the energy I needed. I was like, yeah, I just felt good. But yeah, I'd probably say that was probably the hardest today. But this year will be the hardest, training consistently 4 times for the whole year. I think this will be the biggest challenge.
So Cass, what have you been working on? Have you got any challenges coming up in 2023?
Personal, fitness, or family challenge.
All three.
All three.
Yeah.
Challenge as well, there's loads. In terms of, obviously I want to push myself more, in terms of learning more. So I've signed up to a couple of courses. Already the first, I've got a biomechanics course coming up. I guess to learn more, obviously apply it to the team as well, and obviously to the members and the programming. In terms of fitness ones, again, towards the back end of last year, my consistency of training just dipped. Because of work, ECA, family, kids, etc. I prioritize that. I'm kind of person, if I've got a lot going on, I prioritize those things over training. Whereas I've realized obviously the benefits of training for me, structure, routine, mood, etc. So I wanted that initially just to be the mainstay, so get back to being consistent 4 times a week, regardless of whatever happens. So that's happened now, but for me to kind of keep that, I've set a couple of things to kind of maintain that training, so I can't stop because I've got these things in the pipeline. So I might be doing the London to Brighton cycle, maybe. I need to see. I shouldn't say that, but yeah, it's depending on the bike. But yeah, that's in September. There's another one. Obviously, we've got the nuclear, the obstacle run and stuff like that we're doing here as a team. I started learning how to swim again. I know how to swim, but I'm, trying to get the proper strokes, etc. Yeah. So it's just all about trying to just maintain, physical health, strength, because again, like that will help me, with longevity and life, and ultimately that's what we're trying to do. I'm trying to be here, for my kids, for a long time. So right now it's just aesthetics are there, but the aesthetic goal is there. But right now it's just about being able to function, being able to fit and healthy, and then continuing that, being consistent with that. So those challenges will kind of help me along the way in terms of maintaining that consistency. But initially, like I said, the goal was just to stay consistent with training. But yeah, maybe I don't know what other challenges we do. I really want to test, again, I think being around the guys, I really want to test myself in terms of like really pushing myself outside my comfort zone with stuff. So obviously I did the photo shoot in the past, which was really good in terms of like showing myself that I can diet, I can be disciplined. So I did that twice. So I think now this physical one will be really good in terms of like really pushing myself past that comfort zone. I've been listening to a lot of David Goggins, and you know, the stuff that he does, it really kind of drives into my, okay, what can you actually do if you push your body to a certain point? Like, and it just opens other aspects in your life, isn't it? So yeah, interested to see where that can take me. Should have gone heavier. I had a couple more left in the tank. So I might do another set. Yeah, I might do another set after.
So you're getting on a bit now, Pat. How many years have you been training for?
You know, I like to say I've been training properly for about since 2017, properly. I was training before, but I wasn't training properly. I wasn't logging. So I log in training, like following a proper program.
Give me a brief insight into what it looked like before 2017 and then how it switched.
Bro, what? Like, you just go to the gym, just do whatever. I actually, you know, it's so mad, I actually can't think about what I used to do in the gym. I wish I could watch myself in the gym before. Like, I used to do legs, but I don't know what the hell I was doing on legs. Like, I was probably just doing like leg press. I never used leg extension, never used, you know what I mean? So probably just go in, do chest, do arms, just do whatever anyone else was doing. Like, but there was no structure, you know what I mean? Like, there was no plan in terms of how I was gonna get what I wanted to get.
So was that the final moment when you switched to log in? Was it someone who influenced you to do that? Or?
Yeah, I got my first proper coach. Yeah, so Callum, my first proper coach. I kind of knew I wanted a better structure. I wanted to kind of learn how to do it properly. So I reached out to Callum. He was in Nottingham at the time. So I went to Nottingham. But he's one that kind of drilled into me about, like, that's why I followed a proper program, log in, rep ranges, like everything. I started to learn how to train properly, like really, you know, tracking my progress. Yeah, like taking training like actual seriously, because before, like I said, I think I took it seriously before, but again, it was just lift and hope. There was no accountability, there was no, you know what I mean? There was no kind of goal, there was no structure. I was just kind of just training, just like whatever happens, happens, you know what I mean?
Why do you now train? Is there anything different to where you were at 2017?
Oh yeah, massively, yeah. I think that then was like more aesthetics. So I think at the time I was training because I had a holiday, I was going to Dubai. Whereas now, aesthetics is still there, but it's not the driving force. You know? It's more like the intangibles of exercise, mood, productivity, energy, health is like massive on my mind all the time now. Just feeling fitter, like feeling stronger, more for like everyday tasks, you know what I mean? So physique is still there, but that's like on the back burner. As long as I continue to just be consistent, that will come anyway. But like the intangibles right now are priority, like just feeling good, you know what I mean? Ticking that box, that feeling of accomplishment, I think is definitely more important now than it was before. Before it was just physique, like, but I had loads of time now, whereas now, limited time, so I need to be very strategic with it. But yeah, it's definitely about what it brings to me and to my life as opposed to just trying to get ripped, basically. But I'm still there in the back burner.
Tell us about your history at TTFit and how you became head coach.
So obviously I knew Luke from Nuffield. I met him when he first started there. And we worked together over the years. I worked a bit at Ediscombe. Shout out to the Spin guys. And then yeah, I think there was a time we spoke, I can't remember what we did. I think we did like a webinar or something. And I just said to him, you know, if you're doing anything in the future, let me know. We always had that relationship anyway. And then he said, okay, I've got this opportunity. I'm opening the gym, etc., etc. And initially I was a bit like, I wasn't sure. Because obviously small group training, the equipment, I was a bit like, but I think at that time I was ready to kind of challenge myself a little bit. So I thought, okay, you know what, let's give it a go. Because if I ever spoke to people about the idea, the concept, and they're like, it's gonna be tough, like how you'll be a bit classy. So I think going into it, I went in with the mindset, okay, let's make a change. So we'll do it differently. Like we'll do logbooks, like every person have their own logbook. We'll do like progressive periodized sessions. So not just a thing where it's like a class, people come in, they do it, they leave. Just wanted to make that really structured, really session oriented, really like focus on strength and conditioning in like a progressive way. So not just random exercises and stuff like that. So yeah, so that's how we got here, and then here we are, what, a year and a half later or whatever, that's where we are, yeah.
So how do you think the TTFit programming has evolved over the years?
Yeah, it's all quite a bit actually, to be fair. When we first started, we developed what we call the TTFit method, which is like a combination of different training styles and kind of ideology. So we've got a bit of what you call like functional exercises, got conditioning focus in there, also got heavy emphasis on strength, but then we're not too, like, we focus on in terms of like a bodybuilding side of training as well, where we do different splits, different body parts, etc. So initially, I guess because we weren't really sure like the layout, how the session will flow, etc., sessions were a lot longer in terms of like just, you know, a lot of volume. But as our client base and as our members have grown with us, they've learnt with us as well, they've become, you know, we kind of have a better idea now of how the programming should be. So we actually now have blocks and periods of phases, so 8-week phases. But before we never really had that. We had phases, but they weren't with a plan in mind, whereas now we know, okay, for the whole year, this is what we're going to try and achieve within the year. So we break it down into 8-week blocks. So we've got our accumulation phases, which focus on, again, high volume, building that muscular endurance, just building that hypertrophy. Then we'll go into our intensification phases, we'll focus on lifting heavier, again, getting stronger, and building up that base strength. So we kind of rotate between those two, and obviously now with the events that we have at the gym, we'll kind of try and coincide it. So if we've got an event like, you know, a high rocks or obstacle course, we try and say, okay, what is the best phase that will benefit this event that the members are going to do? And we try and match that in as well. But yeah, so now I think now we focus a lot on quality over quantity. So before it was like, try and get both, whereas now it's okay, what's going to be most efficient within the time that we have. So there's no fluff. Like every exercise has a purpose, and it ties into the future programming or into the next phase of the exercises. So yeah, so that's how it's developed. Like I said, we wanted to start off periodized, which we did, but now it's even more tailored and periodized as we've grown and as our members have grown as well.
And with the refit?
Huh?
And with the refit?
Yeah, exactly. With the refit, exactly. That's going to change even more, because now we have access to cables, have access to you know more stable environments for our members to get stronger in, a whole load of exercises as well. So you know, it's going to be really like beneficial to members in terms of, from a hypertrophy perspective, from just again accessing different movement patterns, different muscles in a more stable environment. I think that's the real key thing, is having cables allows us to really focus on stability in exercises. And obviously, if we have stability in exercise, we're able to apply more force, we're able to get better results. So yeah, really looking forward to the cables.
Give me an example of what a training session would look like for you now. Like time, exercise section, how many days a week?
Yeah, so you know, actually, right now it's all about efficiency. And to be fair, since that's one thing, when I started training with Callum, I don't know, he didn't drill it into me, but the structure of the session just drilled into me efficiency. So 4 times a week now, most exercises will have 2 sets. It's what we call a top set and a back off set. So the top set is where you're dealing with a heavier load, reps are a little bit lighter, reps are a little bit lower. So I can range from 5 to 8 to 8 to 12, but the intensity is higher. So you're going to almost, not failure, but pushing the muscle to near failure. Then the back off set's a little bit lighter, reps a little bit more. So that'll be 8 to 12, 10 to 15. We're still going for the same intensity. Obviously, because you've exhausted on the top set, the back off set is, you know, it has to be adjusted a little bit. But what that means is that literally the focus is there for those 2 sets. So it's almost like you don't want to miss, because if you miss and you fluff up the first set, it doesn't set up the back off set. So the focus is literally just warm up, okay, go into the top set. But also makes the training more efficient, because like back in the day where I'll do like 4 or 5 sets of chest and then do more sets of chest, it's just about really hitting the muscle as accurately as possible. 2 sets, done. On to the next exercise. So actually I did chest, but I did 2 pressing exercises, 1 fly and 1 dip, and that was it. And whereas back in the day I would have done loads. So even the same thing for you, like where once we start to get to that level of experience where we can push intensity a bit more, lift a little bit more, you can capitalize on that by doing less, but obviously just hitting it with a bit more intensity. And that saves time massively because it means I'm not in the gym for like hour and a half, 2 hours, you know what I mean? It's just, we got, I think...
People think longer is better.
No, yeah, that's... it's funny because I'm battling with it, I'm like, oh, I should be doing more. But it's just about, no, like, with what you've got, hit that as accurately as possible, like really focus on hitting that as accurately as possible. And adaptation will be the same, like I think we spoke about the most minimal dose effective. Like if it's effective and it's working, stick with that. And then over time you can increase it if you need to. But literally it's just about being efficient with what you have. I think, like I said, that helps massively because I can go to the gym, be done in an hour, be home, do all the stuff. Whereas back in the day, I had the gym for like 2 hours and stuff like that. Like, lifestyle's changed. I don't really have I do have the time for that. I just don't want to be there for 2 hours. Like, I don't want to be there for 2 hours. So, but yeah, that's what it looks like now. So 4 times a week, roughly about hour 15 max, and out. That's it.